Hello, this is Christine Pensa. I'm the host of the Awakened Woman Self Care Podcast. Welcome. Today we have a really special episode, or I have a very special episode. I'm welcoming once again Sahala Larnyoh. Um, and if you want to look back, she was also in episode 119 and it was titled Sahala Larnyoh and the New Music, Healing Frequencies of Awakened Song. And I think I will re listen to that one as well. So it's incredible when you come together with someone that is in your heart, as Sahala is in mine, so powerfully. And I feel like these conversations we have with these kind of soulmates, for want of a better word or descriptive, um, they are part of some kind of infinite and ongoing cosmic conversation that we have with each other, with loved ones, with ones that touch our heart. And it's like stepping into this warm plasma bath of love. And so our conversation, because it was ongoing, I wanted to make a couple notes here. One is that before you begin to listen, one is that I will put all the links to Sahela's Instagram and her Spotify. So please go and support her there. And then the other thing, again, because it didn't specifically come up in the conversation, because it is an ongoing and infinite one, is that Sahela and I met because we both did and continue to do frequency work with Kaya Usher. And so I want to highlight that as well, because that is one of the we attune to more of ourselves and are able to have this kind of conversation and awareness of ourselves and singing our beautiful note in the world, in large part to the clearing we did um, through the frequency technology that Kaya Usher offers. So I invite you to check out her work as well. And the links for Kaya will be likewise in the show notes. As I said when I invited Sahala to do this episode with me, it feels like both an offering and a kind of a ceremony, almost, the way that we came to it. And it's an invitation for you to join us, an invitation for you to sing your beautiful note, remembering that that is why you're here, humming the song resonant in the cosmos, heard across galaxies, opening hearts to the brilliance you are, we all are. This beautiful, infinite, intimate, ongoing song with all of life. So welcome. So here I am with. First of all, let me say it's a great honor to be here with this beautiful woman, Sahala Larnyoh, and she's been a guest before on this podcast. Um, she's such a powerful and beautiful presence on this planet right now, and I am deeply honored to be her friend and have her um, companionship of the heart. Um, so here's what I'm going to give a little background on this, Sahela, and then maybe you will take it over. Uh, so I was following an impulse a few days ago, and I reached out to Sahela, and I was like, I know a lot of stuff is going on, and you're busy, and all the things, but I really feel that uh, we should do a podcast together for the end of the year as kind of an offering, and almost it's well, I said to her, it's like a ceremony. She and I coming together, and if you're just listening audio wise, you wouldn't see, but she is in this royal purple adornment garment uh, with nature earrings of beautiful, vibrant green. And as I was walking up the stairs to come to my computer, I heard, "Oh, you're going to meet your queen." And here she is. Um, so I said to her, it's sort of like I've always said, sing your beautiful note. It's why you're here. And I understand if it's too much or you're busy or whatever, but I would love to do this. And so and I got the reply, and I would maybe you can share that part, Sahila.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me and for reaching out and for listening to your heart and replying to the call. Um, I just want to say when I got that offering, I was deeply honored. It moved me to tears. I know we are one, so I can speak on one. A lot of things are happening, and a lot of people, myself included, are going through a lot of inner transformations that feel really unpredictable and unstable and um, really shaky. So, sort of in a sheet of despair, um, head above the surface. And when I got the message, I just felt like this loving blanket, this loving embrace. Um, it was God through you, through your heart, that oneness of saying, you're not forgotten. And I'd love for you to be a part of something really special because you are. And despite everything that has been going on in your life, um, your gifts are valuable and you are worthy and valuable of being seen, being heard, and just being thought of. So, yeah, it moved me to tears when you messaged me asking to be a guest on your podcast again. Um, I did share a little bit with you, um, but basically just really thankful that I crossed your heart, really thankful that I am noticed. So, yeah, thank you.
um, my goodness. So yeah. So basically, what you just said was, when you got that call, you said, "I'd love." You interpret it as, I'd love for you to be a part of something special, that you're worthy of being seen, being thought of. And this is what this is all about today, right? For we're vibrating that out. So it's about following that part of your heart that knows, even in those moments of um, as we're going through these very difficult times, and we're feeling a collective rising up of grief and the energies of that, and it's really important to remember that Of course, each of us is valuable. Each of us has this beautiful note to sing to contribute to the symphony of life. We are here for that. Um, and it, it's powerful because um, I'll say, and it's okay. I'm about to cry too. Um, we can forget that amidst this cacophony of what's going on, but really, let's remember that when we're feeling that, it's actually departing. It's moving through us. It's purifying through us because we are brave enough to feel it. And, I'll just say this young woman who is wise, like so ancient and wise at the same time, even though she's young in earth years, let's say, um, eh, her bravery is at facing is astounding to me, and it brings me see, now you got me going. It brings me to my knees, and reminds me that, I can do the same, that you listening can do the same. Um, so
Thank you.
all right. Um, yeah, we just took a little cry break, and we're good. We're back. Um, so, Sayala, I'd love for you to talk about so specifically when we're talking about um, sing your beautiful note. It's why you're here. When we're talking about your song, it, it's both figurative and in your case, it's literal as well. And so, I would love for you to share a little bit about your journey and your knowing, always your knowing of that, um, of what you were here to present and how your gifts manifested here now. We all have them, yeah, but how that manifests here now, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about that. That is in line with inviting others to pay attention to what they're called to.
Thank you for that. So a little bit about my journey. Um, I've always known, ever since I was young, that things deeply within myself, my intuition, the guidance, my spirit, um, is the truth, is the true way. Even with a lot of baggage and trauma and unhealed distortions, I always knew through healing, through that inner guidance within me, is the only way I can set myself free from all of it. So I experienced a lot of darkness and abuse and trauma through my family lineage coming here. Um, I believe I chose my family this lifetime, and because I really wanted a challenge and I really want to know myself even more. And within this family lineage, understand and deepen that unconditional love, um, that we all circle back to, and is the epitome of existence and oneness. Um, so through these challenging times, I kind of always knew that what I was experiencing wasn't the truth. For example, abuse. I knew in my heart that this wasn't the way I want to be living, or this wasn't the way I should be living just like my parents and my parents' parents. Um, I didn't know when I would step into this knowledge of this ancient technology that we are, um, but certain paths that I took because of the distortions led me to that. So, my spirit. And when I did tread down these paths and have the opportunity to choose to shed it all or continue knowingly and consciously the same as my family, I decided to be brave and go with the path that I felt in my inner guidance and my spirit knew was right for me. It was lighter, it was more freeing, it felt like a place of safety and healing. This other path of distortion and struggle just felt so heavy and treacherous for me. And um, I didn't see myself living a long life with that. Because of the chaos of that path, I could just see destruction. So I decided to literally shed everything to do with my lineage, cut all ties, if you will, and begin this independent path. Um, I've always been independent since I was little, very soft, and I always used to observe. I was an observer, and I used to, when I was little, I used to watch singers from the X Factor with my gran, and I was always a bedroom singer. And through singing and humming and playing piano with the tones, I recognized that the frequency of sound was something that opened chambers within my being, opened things within me that, like a flower, it was just, it began to bloom. And so I remember vividly, and my parents remember this. It was such an astounding moment in my life. Must have been about 10, 9. I was in primary school, and I entered the talent show, the primary school talent show. And I remember my gran got me these sparkly black hot little shorts, hot pant thingies. I wore tights, I wore a nice blazer, and I think it was 2007 when Leona Lewis won the X Factor, and she brought out a best-selling #1 hit, "Bleeding Love," and I remember practicing it, and I said, "I'm gonna sing that," and my name wasn't even on the list of contenders, so people had to actually write my name at the bottom, and I was the last one to sing and perform. And I'm telling you, when the spotlight hit and I was glistening in the sequin shorts and I sang that powerful song at that age, um, that was the moment where an opportunity opened up for me. Performing, singing, showcasing my voice, showcasing my being for audiences is something that there's potentiality with. This is something that I could step into and, polish and craft and experiment with, and, it brought tears to my parents. They were in disbelief because they've never heard me sing. Everyone was just completely shunned and shocked, and so that was a pivotal moment in my musical career, if you will, which just told the world that I I can do this. Watch me. And I got a standing ovation and I won it, even though I wasn't even on the list and people had to write my name. They were all like, how do you spell Sahala? um, and that's one moment where if I asked my parents, what's the proudest moment, um, what's the proudest moment of me in your eyes? And my dad says that, and my mom mentions it. So fast forward to right now, I followed that voice within. where I went to high school and I was very attuned to the music teacher. I said, I just want to perform. I remember asking to just do a performance course, and that we didn't even have that. And I think the teacher accustomed this grade, this performance class just specifically for me because I asked for it. So performance has been a very big thing. Again, writing and having the courage to stand in your own light, in the light, and being able to share that. Um, I picked up songwriting when I was, I guess, in a very strange place in my life. But songwriting comes from my heart. It comes from a space of, I want to share the most intimate parts and vulnerable parts of my heart and things that I've kept locked away through song and through a melody accompanied preferably by guitar. I like singing with acoustic instruments, piano and guitar, because I am a quite shy and soft person as it is. So singing with those friends, if you will, it just helps the softness build momentum, and not in a forceful way, but in a very natural way. So, yes, songwriting, performing, singing my heart, it heals me. And when it heals my being, because we are one, it heals the parts of others that are also wanting to sit with their heart, wanting to heal those parts as well. So it has been a thread throughout my youth, music, performance, and writing. And I like to ask my parents what I was like when I was younger. And my mum says we used to have a very old out of tune piano, but I used to sit and just play simple melodies and create beautiful melodies. And I remember sitting there when I was really, really young, must have been about like 3 or 4. Um, but again, I was still really shy, still unsure if it would be received, you know. But through time and just through courage, it's just the way to do it. I can't hold on to these forever. Again, it's a release. It's like tears. They have to come out and you have to let them go. And yeah, I guess we could totally equate to following, singing your notes, singing your heart as like releasing your tears. I remember throughout my childhood, I used to never cry. Um, I saw it as a sign of vulnerability was weakness. So every time I was frustrated, or if I felt like my voice wasn't being heard, or I wasn't allowed to speak or express anything, I used to well up. I also used to pinch myself to try and distract myself. And so I wouldn't cry. And then one day, the dam broke, and I've never cried like this in my life. I wailed and wailed and wailed, and it was like years upon years of holding back this powerful force. So I don't want to pressure anyone. Obviously, you can suggest things, and but you know, your being knows exactly what it wants, when it wants, and how it wants it. So time. Give yourself all of the time that you want, because we are, yes, it's a short life here, the paradox, but we're also eternal as well. And we get caught up in the whole having to do things in a rush time, 24 hours. So take all the time you need, because no one knows when that spark will come. No one knows when those tears will come. They just come. And in that moment, you choose to soften and surrender to it, or you have a choice whether to hold it back and till the next time where you're presented that choice again. Don't know. I answered all the questions.
So good. Uh, I had a bath before this, but I'm having another one now. I feel like it. Yeah, there was so much beauty in what you just said, and so I'm gonna pick one thing out because I love that. Singing my heart, it heals me, you said. And it also heals the parts of others who want to sit with those parts of their hearts too. And so again, you know, this is both a reality and a metaphor when we're talking about you singing. Um, but it also is about everyone, and it's about the voice, what you give voice to. So the potential that we all have inside, the gifts that only each of us has the key to unlock, right? And you talked about truth, and yeah, so the more you're allowing that truth of who you are to move through, the more powerful your note is. And so, you just talked about that. Like you walked up to that, no, your name wasn't on there, but you chose it. And I'm taken back there and I'm just imagining how people are like, holy crap, right? Like holy, there she is. And it was not only that you have a stunningly beautiful voice, which is your gift, right? We all have various attributes and things. And and all of you out there saying, no, but I don't. Incorrect. Incorrect. So it's this understanding that you need to come to, right? That um, you let go of, in your case, you talked about letting go of your lineage, and that lightened you. So let's talk about how that might apply otherwise. Like there's a lot of people who would, yes, your lineage definitely, but it may be even more subtle than that. So what if we let go of what we're doing to let us fit in, to drop your own dreams because, oh, they're not practical. Um, and so, yeah, so can you talk a little bit about maybe, um, yeah, that aspect of it? Because we can do that. There's very strong ways that we can walk away from ourselves, right? And the song we're here to sing, m- uh, whether actually or metaphorically. Um, And so, what are some of the more subtle ways you might have experienced and noticed?
I mean, I mentioned one thing earlier, and that's wanting to express or say no, but then you say yes to people please, or something is frustrating you, or something is annoying you that a loved one or a friend or even a stranger is doing, whether they're encroaching in on your space, they don't respect a boundary that you've literally just said. Um, or if a loved one, or for example, the loved one takes things of your possession, um, it's about not being afraid to confront that. Not in a way where you're antagonistic and you want to cause a fight and it's coming from an unconscious trauma, because those things happen and you're just in the middle of it and you don't know how you've got into this conflict because there's a program running that says we have to be in your face and we have to sort it now and we have to get blood for it. But like, I think being authentic and being strong and being sovereign you have to be fierce and you have to do that. Like, it comes to a point where you just tick. Like, me and my brother had sort of like, confrontation with one another, and it was a complete boundary from both parties. It was a ticking bomb, and it needed to explode and erupt so we could be like, "Wow," like, because if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, like, how far can you push before the band snaps? How far can someone push into your space before it's too much for you? Expectations. Even if you don't come from an abusive family or confrontational lineage, like, even just, "Well, that's the way it's always been done. Why are you doing anything different?" You know, individuality. I was watching The Crown the other day, and the Queen, you know, you're not allowed to be individual. You're not allowed to even write your own speech to say to the public. You know, everything is all there, and who's dictating this? It's all from one ear and mouth to one ear and mouth to one ear and mouth, and if isn't it a wonderful journey of having to shed it all because it can feel so daunting and feels like you won't have the support of others when you shed all of this. And I think that's why people are fearful of being individual because they feel like everyone's going to leave them. If they dress differently, if they say something different, then they're not gonna have the support of the community or of everyone else, of the strength in numbers, of that belonging community. Everyone's gonna turn their back on them because we have done that to truth seekers, to truth speakers, to people who are different, to people who are standing strong in sovereignty. Like, we previously, we've completely turned a blind eye and thought, well, they're gonna get chastised. I don't want anything to do with that because then I will get chastised. Look at the Jews and the Germans. If you even hid or knew anything, that was you out. So it comes from slavery and freedom.
Yeah, and we get conditioned, right? As we were saying, we're conditioned to believe that that's the only option. Um, and we are also conditioned in a hierarchy. Interesting, you mentioned the queen. Um, speaking of stagnant hierarchies, um, so you know, we, we have all of these patterns and programs, right? That we are now recognizing. They're being shown to us. They're being broadcasted to us. We recognize, and some of the less obvious ones are, that's what I was saying, that that can also limit, like, you know, it almost like that can be your Achilles heel. I'm speaking because I know that is for me. Like, I, I feel like I could, the worst kind of thing I've walked through, and I'm there. I've got it. And then like some little thing happens and I go, "Oh my gosh." I crumble. Right? Or and it's because I didn't get myself, like you talking about your brother, like, you know, we didn't speak up. So those, like those 100 moments where a boundary was crossed, or, and it's not even about the other person, it's about you standing in your speaking, using voice, your voice to say, without self-censoring and without it's not meant to cause harm. And we always have to be cognizant of the fact that we may trigger somebody, but that's not harm. There's a real
Yeah.
difference there, because when we're speaking up for ourselves, we're never throwing it on them. It's like, there's a way to phrase that. Um, and I want to bring in here too, because um, there's the other thing of this the greater societal and the way things work and that hierarchical thing. And so I sent you this, I think the morning that I sent you an audio message to say, "Come in," and it was a poem that came in that morning, which was, called Same, um, and it is us. Where do we limit ourselves, giving up just before arriving, sighing, saying, "It's easy for others who've already done it." Can we choose instead to watch them soar, understanding that the effortlessness of their flow comes through a moment by moment living of letting go? That's when the fences fall, the dams burst, the heart ignites, and that being surrenders to their own pure flight. Watch them soar. Know we are the same. And so instead of being triggered by someone else, because we've been conditioned to believe there's only one. There's the greatest singer, there's the greatest athlete, there's the we are here to do our own, to sing our own note, to bring our own pure flight. And it's, you know, and interesting, I think that a lot of it comes through the clearing of our throats, through, it's not by chance that so many ancient traditions have song or chanting or, om. Think of the sound om or hum. Like that moves your vagus nerve. It tunes you. It's actually a tuning of your body. And um, so I'll share a story here too. Of I may have told you this before, but my grandmother also. Um, I used to perform for my grandmother, and I would. She had those curtains that you could pull from the side, so I'd go behind the curtain and I'd pull, and I'd introduce myself, and I would sing, and, she would receive it, and let's just say I received the crow stamp in kindergarten for my singing, and so I was very confused because I was like, "You know what? I feel" like I kept having as a little kid, I remember this vividly, I had an image of myself standing at kind of a microphone in front of people, and I felt like singing, but it was my my voice was healing everybody in the room. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, that has to be singing because I don't know about anything else. And, it's not about singing in, in this incarnation, let's say. Um, but it's about my expression. And so, doing this podcast scared the heck out of me. Um, Becoming an artist, because that wasn't like a job for people. That scared me, but that's where my expression comes. These poems that come in the last several years, come in from my, I don't know what you want to call my source. I think it's my source connection, part of my multidimensional expression. They come through me as like it's an impulse that cannot be stopped. Right? Like, because to do that would stop the tide. Um, and and you know what? They're met with, indifference by many or annoyance or whatever, and then by some, they receive them, as the offerings of love. So it's not even about like this idea that you need to be the star or the best or whatever, because that's secondary to expressing your heart. And as I do that, I become this different vibration. And it's about the vibration, and that is what affects everybody around, right? And maybe this brings up so I always loved that. So as I was an artist, I did a lot of printmaking, and I like to do beautiful and useful and inspirational products all in one. So I did um, kind of printed on textiles. And I sent Sahala, was it like 2 years ago maybe? I sent her one of my tea towels, which I printed hundreds and hundreds of. And it's called Sing Your Beautiful Note. It's Why You're Here. So maybe we could talk about that too.
So you gifted me a beautiful gift, and there was multiple gifts in the package. And I remember receiving this tea towel with "Sing your beautiful note, that's why you're here." And I just thought, wow, how perfect, because, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. And so I put it up in my room. I had this collage of just art and pictures, and I put it up in my room. And my friend and I were making music in my bedroom, and he showed me just these sounds that he made years ago. He's a producer, 10 plus years of all different genres. And one of my gifts is improvisation. You were saying about the tide, you can't stop the tide, and it just comes from your source. And that's this whole beautiful journey of rediscovering that for yourself. And one of mine is improvising and in the moment, in the flow of responding to what I hear, what I feel in that moment, particularly through sounds and through music. So for years, he just plays music and I can just freestyle over it. He'll hit record, and that's just the way we've made a lot of music. So he played a song, and I don't think it even had a title, or he had his own title. But then, because I looked over to my left, it was on the wall, I was sitting at my desk and I read your words. It was all a freestyle, which you guys will have the opportunity to hear exclusively, by the way. Sorry, I just need to throw that in. It just came out. It just came out in a total freestyle, all of it. Um, and it's just like, well, you'll listen to the lyrics, but in a part of the lyrics, I say like, "What else do you want to hear? What else should I be but apart from just singing this note, singing my note right now?" And it's so beautiful because it's all interconnected, because the whole intention, the inspiration I received is from your flow and your source. And it's like I recognized that and decided to join you on that inspirational tidal flow. And I think that's when someone hears that song, their tidal flow, they'll like to join that as well. So it's like this never ending sea of love, of joy and inspiration. And for example, a dancer could hear that song and make up a beautiful choreography, or an artist could hear it and create a nice picture which someone might want to put on the wall and express with their family. Just I think like that. And that's the beauty of authentically being you and sharing that, sharing you because it is part of you. Um, yeah, that's really cool
Oh my
actually.
god. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's about I mean, that's an illustration of what happens also because we are like we're doing this in isolation, this expression, and then we come together. And it's even more, when you're following what lights you up and you then connect with another being and then to me I always see it like it's like fireworks occur. I mean, these are the creative sparks and again I hear people say, "Well, I'm not creative." Um, Incorrect again. Everybody is. Um, that's what you're here. You're here for that. You're standing on the earth, and we're here for I think, a lot of reasons, but we only reach that by being who we truly are here to express as. Um, Even when it feels like that isn't, I mean, I've often felt it's not enough, or it's not good enough, or it's not, um, I'm not, as you talked about, like, you know, at the very beginning, about like, who are we to not think that we're worthy of being seen? Um, you know, that isn't us. That's not who we are. And when we can release all of that, it's incredible. Um, so maybe we can break here.
Okay, so now is myself and my wonderful friend Altosounds. His newest song exclusively. It's called Sing Your Heart. So enjoy and relish in your own heart and your own note.
Baby, don't you say, mm-hmm.
So that was New Sounds, again by myself and Alto Sounds. It's coming out soon, I think in the new year. I just want to maybe just share a couple words, express to artists of all calibers and children, and I think everyone on this earth right now that's experiencing um, a lot of shaking ground just now. Please, please hang in there and allow this storm and all of this uncertainty to pass. Um, the famous saying, hunker down, is coming up. Find the people in your life that truly bring out the magic and feel like rays of sunshine on your beautiful skin. Really find those people or allow them to find you. Just believe that it is possible to have these magical people in your life. And they make a world of difference to your emotional, mental, physical, spiritual health. Um, for example, you were that ray of sunshine on my skin that day. So allow allow those rays of sunshine to touch you. And if you are feeling burrowed and you have your head in your hands, please just don't give up on yourself. And if you need to express whatever emotion or feel and go to the depth, again, just allow yourself to feel it. Um, you have your remedies that make you feel good. I can recommend a few. That is playing music, playing your favorite music, whether that's, 70s disco or it's rock or if it's a good sad song to cry to. But music is truly universal and truly healing to one and all. Even animals love to hear drums and the birds feel the vibration and they're curious. So, again, music, sound, humming. People say they can't sing, they can hum, and they can vibrate, they can shift the energy. So, if you are feeling the weight just now, play your favorite music, blast it loud, and dance it off, shake it off, feel the beat, feel the groove, and soon enough you will feel and come back into the groove of your own being. I feel like I just had to express that because it's just been such a prod in vein through these past few weeks for myself. Um, so thank you so much, Christine, for this opportunity to allow my voice to be heard and felt by you all. Thank you to all the listeners, every single one of you that feels these frequencies and vibrations. And thank you for being open, um, and for you for holding this space. And I cannot thank you enough. I love you so much. Truly, you are a queen.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is so beautiful. And as I think I mentioned at the beginning, um, we, when we came together, it really felt like a ceremony. And uh, everything that Sahala has shared is so powerful. And I am like particularly grateful that you mentioned some practical, I always like to give a practical um, follow up for people like, dancing is so powerful and singing. And if you don't want to sing, tone or ohm or hum. And then the other thing that I would also like to say is to sing your beautiful note usually actually begins in the silence, because when you sit in the silence, that's where you begin to hear that other voice that is you, not the external, and then that comes rises up. So to that end, we have an offering that we'd like to share, which is just some inspirational poetry. It's going to be from Rumi and Hafiz and a couple others. And Sahil and I are going to co create something that is meant as um, just this beautiful sounds to step into so that you can tune in to your own silence. Um, and I think it will end in silence. So we'll break here, and that'll be sort of a separate piece at the end of this podcast. Um, so thank you. Thank you so much, Sahela, for my queen. Wow. as I said, uh, it is a great joy to connect with beings like you in this on this earth at this time, and I feel so incredibly grateful to have been able to connect um, with you. And thank you, everyone listening. May you sing your beautiful note with more power and freedom and joy moving forward into 2024. I love you, Sahala. I love you who is listening. And thank you all for being here now as we shift this earth. And so it is.
So it is.
This is a special offering from me, Christine, and Sahala for you to relax and maybe light yourself a candle or listen in the bath or on a walk in nature, um, doing something that quiets your mind and makes you feel held. And it is an invitation to deepen into the sounds and the poetry to use as tools to meet more of yourself, your own song, your own note, which is the part of the symphony that we all are. Many say that life entered the human body with the help of music, but the truth is that life itself is music. Hafiz. I am a hole in a flute that the Christ's breath moves through. Listen to this music. Hafiz. Sometimes I say to a poem, not now. Can't you see I'm bathing? But the poem usually doesn't care and quips. Too bad, Hafiz. No getting lazy. You promised God you would help out, and he just came up with this new tune. Your happy songs bring to me the scent of heaven. Please keep singing, Rumi. There are many ways to the divine. I have chosen the ways of song, dance, and laughter. Rumi. Let your throat song be clear and strong enough to make an emperor fall full length, supplicant at your door. Rumi. Watch for all the beauty reflecting from you and sing a love song to your own existence. Rumi. You are the meeting of the energies of the sky and the energies of the earth as one consonant and ongoing song. Jacqueline Hobbs. We are slowed down sound and light waves, a walking bundle of frequency tuned into the music of the cosmos. We are souls dressed up in sacred biochemical garments, and our bodies are the instrument through which our souls play their music. Albert Einstein. In the silence, there is a stillness there where the silence sings to you a velvety song, a heart opening note, coating a throat with softness, with no effort or thought. The mouth gently opens, allowing angelic sounds to float up and in the air, filling the nothing stillness with new, powerful songs of light. Christine Pensa.
See